Finally, somebody has said the quiet part all the way out loud. I am so thankful I ran into this damn video. Now, I don't spend much time on TikTok going through content. I usually just like to post content and make my way out for the platform. There was a lot of insanity going on over there, as much as good, right? I can't just, there's a lot of good stuff on there, and I do love to use it, and I'm thankful for it. However, when you run into a gem like this, you got to thank the heavens above. Now, this is a conversation I've been looking to have for quite a while, but I wanted to know, how do I frame this conversation in a way that is actually the most conducive and helpful, right? I could just go and dog the entire idea, but I said, nah, I want it to be a productive conversation. And so the conversation is one of cultural appropriation, which, to be honest, was only an idea that I actually heard of much later in maybe late teens, if not early 20s. Before then, it wasn't necessarily a thing. It was with the rise of like the woke ideology, right? This progressive sort of mentality that was pervasive throughout society and throughout culture, post-Obama era, when you have the BLMs, etc., where all of a sudden it's like, the white girls used to get the braids back in the day or whatever, and like they couldn't do that anymore because that's cultural appropriation. But I was always confused because I would see black women throughout my entire life since I was a kid doing blonde hair, whether it was the short blonde hair. I always saw straight hair was always a thing, getting weaves and stuff like, my aunties, my mom, whatever. I always saw that, but it confused and perplexed me to say, wait, so why is this cultural appropriation and that's not cultural appropriation? And of course, then you get inundated with this other information of, well, because it's systems of inequity and injustice, and it's because of, white supremacy that they cannot actually, we can only be appropriated, but not the ruling class. And again, these universities have done a number in teaching useless information for sure. And I could just make an entire video about that. But what I realized is, like, at the core of it, there actually is no difference, and it's just being used as a means to self-victimize people who want some damn attention and want to gatekeep essentially things that didn't even belong to them to begin with, right? But I digress. Let's get into this video, and I'm gonna give my 2 cents.
I keep hearing my people, but I'm not seeing my people.
One thing I'll never understand is how people would pull out their phones to record a stranger who's literally minding their business, enjoying their best life, not knowing that you even exist. But you wanted the clout so bad that you decided to make fun of them, show the world that you are a bully and a racist. Because if it was done to you, you would come on the internet crying about racism, right? The crazy thing is that you went to an Afro nation, and I'm looking at your name, you are an African, so you're supposed to know, because it's common sense, that we Africans do not come in one shade of skin color. And we share our cultures because cultures are meant to be shared. People are not insulting or disrespecting the culture, but actually appreciating it.
What's incredible, I saw a video recently, and I'm gonna finish this off. I saw a video recently of like a guy who was wearing one of those rice farmer hats, right? The Chinese rice farmer hat. And it was a white guy, and he was asking a bunch of college students of all ethnicities except for Asian, what do you think about my hat? And many of them were like, oh, that's pretty offensive. It's pretty racist, right? Being offended on somebody else's basis. It's kind of the woke way, right? It's the way of the woke, like the way of the water. And now it's like the way of the, anyway. He then starts to approach elderly Chinese people in Chinatown. Every single one of them said, I like your hat. Oh, look very good on you. Some of them just said something in Chinese, but like smiled. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so y'all are offended on the basis of people who are not even offended. It's the same thing that happened with the Redskins in Washington. The football team in Washington, D.C. was named the Redskins. And they said, oh, this is offensive. It's racist. Let's rename the team. And so they renamed the team. Now, years later, the family of the man whose picture was used as the chief is like, wait a minute, we want grandpa or great grandpa back as that picture. Why did you get rid of him? We want Redskins back. Y'all were offended on the basis of somebody else. But this one, again, even being the person of the culture, gatekeeping hairstyles. Have y'all not been keeping up tabs with y'all queen Beyonce, Black Queen, who has now somehow gone 3 or 4 shades lighter, platinum blonde hair? And so that can't be considered as cultural. Let me let homegirl finish, because this is one of them subjects. I'm so tired of the foolishness and the victimhood that grow up.
actually appreciating the culture, but you decide to make fun of the braids because they're white, guess what? The joke is actually on you because they look good in those braids. So many of you are so miserable and so insecure that you can't even help but show the world that you are.
Ooh, you can't even help yourself. And that is a huge point right there. There's a lot of jealousy that takes place. And so it's like you're going to get more attention doing me than I am. That's where a lot of gatekeeping comes from. I'll just tell you straight up. There's always psychological reasons that are deeper than logic that are at play in these situations. It's not the fact that how dare you mock us. No, it's not that. It's the fact that she might actually look flyer than you do and get the attention that you're vouching for, getting that very same thing. Right? And it blows my mind. So let's get into this conversation of cultural appropriation. And these are my beliefs about it. If you believe that I am a sellout or Uncle Tom, whatever it may be for these beliefs, then so be it. So damn be it. My black card was revoked a long time ago. My membership was canceled. I had a platinum card at one point. Joint was canceled. So I can say what the hell I want. It is an excuse to be racist and bigoted. And I don't care who it is. Because every culture has been influenced by another. By the time we get to 2024, 2025, or even just the 21st century, every culture, almost every single culture alive, or like that still exists, has been intermingled with somebody else. For example, my wifey, she's half Moroccan, right? If you go to Morocco today, Moroccan, right? If you go to Morocco today, you will find a large Muslim community. And this is something she's educated deeply about. But their roots are the Amazi people, the Berber, like their roots are not the Muslim culture, but that infiltrated and has become such a part of the customs and norms that there are things you will see that those peoples may do that were never a part of the original. And even if you go into the most original, you're still just going to find that we all land in the same place. We all started in the very same place as the same peoples. Unless you believe, we're aliens and different alien groups were dropped here, whatever it is. If that's your theory, then by golly, knock yourself out. But logically speaking, like straightforward speaking, it's likely that we came from the same tribe and we split and we split and we split. Right? That is the more likely situation. So if that be the case, it means that we have intermingled. That's why you even went into places like there were no horses in North America or something like that, right? I believe there were no horses here. They were actually transported and they became a part of the custom for Native Americans. There are foods that didn't exist in different continents that are now norms and customary there, right? So even things that we say, oh, that's those people's food. No, it's not. It might be somebody on the other side of the planet who actually started with that food. It's like chocolate. Chocolate was something that was valued, when it was brought into certain places in the world and was traded for, and then salt in other places where they couldn't get it and get access to it. There was a trade taking place throughout human history that has created the cultures we now know. And it's the most ironic because when we talk about black culture, oftentimes people are talking about American, quote unquote, black culture, hip hop culture, etc. A lot of that culture, when you look at it, it's like the way we dress, the way we whatever it is plays off of things that came before it. And if you actually, this is going to tickle some folks. It's going to tickle some folks. Go into Thomas Sowell, and if you ever get a copy of, I believe it's called the Black Redneck, right? Or Black Rednecks. How the culture that we now call like Ebonics is nothing more than white redneck language. It's the Southerners' dialect, right? Yeah, know what I'm saying? Like the drawl and things of that nature originate from there. So even if that's something where it's like, oh, but Ebonics, y'all taking our language, technically speaking, a lot of the way in which slang came to be is like broken English. It's like pidgin English or something, right? If you're to go like to Nigeria or whatever, maybe. it's a quote unquote broken English. Just like if you go to the United Kingdom, you're gonna have some people who speak Queen's English and others who speak Cockney, right? Yes, that's what it's called. Okay, get your mind out the gutter. You know, speak with that, like, and it, all right, and it, you know, like you might hear somebody speaking in that dialect. Does that mean that somebody's appropriating when they're now using a different dialect or whatever it is? No, there might actually be a deep appreciation. I hear folks area, what's up, what's up? Grown folk, grown white man, whoever, what's up, what's up? Oh, how dare you take our word, what's up? It is so damn foolish, and it is an excuse to just be a victim on some other front. And the reason I point this out as foolish is because it's unhelpful. It does not aid you in any way. It might get you some attention in the moment or whatever it is, but it doesn't help you in the long run of your life. It keeps you a victim to circumstance. It keeps you in this belief system that, you know, I'm this oppressed person and I can do nothing for self. And that belief causes depression. It causes, you know, a life full of stuckness, a life full of problems, a life full of dysfunction, because you believe you have no personal agency over your life. That's always been my message day one, and it will be on you know, day none, right? Personal agency. You can change your life by changing the decisions that you make. It might not all change on one day, but it will change gradually if you make different decisions, if you form different habits. And the reason why I connect this to this conversation of cultural appropriation is because when you have this fixation of these ideas like cultural appropriation, you are literally wasting your mental and emotional energy on things that do not matter, right? On these external factors that are now offending you, as opposed to taking agency over even your own emotions. Why does it offend you that somebody who has white skin has box braids? Why is that offensive to you? Why is that so problematic that you have to hang on to that? That you go out of your way to film a whole damn video? How dare they? Instead of actually doing something, I don't know, God forbid, productive in your life. That's an option as well. You know, the people who love you are always going to keep it real with you and tell you, look, you need to get yourself up out of that mess, whatever that mess may be. The people who don't love you, they're going to egg you on. Yes, girl. F them. Them oppressors. Them. They're going to race bait you, race hustle you. The white liberals, they're going to coddle you and, you know what I mean? And keep you in that space where you believe you're just victimized by the world and can do nothing for yourself, while the person who loves you is going to tell you, break free from that. Break free from that mentality. Save yourself. And that's my message. Simple as that. Again, you can create all this mental gymnastics around these subjects. You know, they become very well versed at just masking it on idea on these concepts. Well, because it's the system of white supremacy that's actually underlaying the reason why it is actually cultural appropriation. No, the reason why you're offended is because you were told to be offended. And so you continue to perpetuate that same emotional immaturity that keeps you stuck. Simple. Let it go. Free yourself.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a hardening heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon.